tardes. Hello, my name is Representative Jeb Bush. I'm from the state of Texas, represent House District 43. It's a tremendous honor to be here with you today in the Rio Grande Valley. I used to represent parts of it in the Texas House. We had an incredible discussion with Governor Bush, very frank and candid on the issues that we care about the most. Obviously, we care about our region's economy, border security. We care about our schools and our roads. And we had a tremendous group put together with various fields, with tremendous fields of knowledge that provide the insight that we need to give to the next President of the United States, Jeb Bush.
I'm Uncle Brand with Idaho County Water Improvement District Number 3, and we discussed border security, priority issues on the river.
I'm Jimmy Garza, former City of FAR Commissioner, and I'm all in for Jeb.
I'm Barry Patel, Mayor of South Padre Island.
Julio Cerda, Sutherland School District, and we're all in for Jeb.
I'm Beto Salinas for the City of Mission. Thank you for being here today.
So I appreciate, we had other people that were providing some really solid advice as well. The consensus was that there needs to be much more support for local governments to be able to do their jobs in concert with the Border Patrol. 50+% of all the apprehensions crossing our border from Brownsville to San Diego happened here in Hidalgo County. It's pretty amazing. And providing support to the local government makes a lot of sense to me. Secondly, the conversation focused on how do you balance the economic interests of a region like this and border security. You have to make sure that you do this in a way that doesn't make it hard for people's livelihoods to continue to prosper and grow. This is a place where a lot of visitors come. Mayor Patel certainly made that point in South Padre, so that was an important point. And finally, I would suggest that the proposal made by another candidate of building a fence based on just the common sense practices that are being applied here doesn't work. You have to have a much deeper strategy than just building a fence. There has to be much more coordination with local and state law enforcement. There has to be more focus on a virtual fence, which I've proposed as it relates to using GPS technology, drone technologies, other things like that. The Border Patrol needs to act on a strategy and stick with it. There's too much politicizing of what they're trying to do. They do good work, but too much influence from Washington, D.C. to be effective. And the final point that was made is something that that's really important to understand, is that the majority of people crossing the border here are not coming from Mexico. They're coming from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. They're part of the Northern Triangle countries that are that have taken advantage of a loophole in the law, in effect, that was passed a few years ago. And I think that creating a healthy deterrent effect to be able to make sure that these particularly young kids don't cross all the way through Mexico to come to be processed into our country, it's just completely inappropriate. There are examples of doing it the right way where you create a healthy deterrent effect where people's lives aren't in jeopardy. So I learned a lot, and it validates my belief that we need to have a comprehensive strategy to deal with border security, unique to the circumstances of each part of each region that is impacted by this. With that, welcome. Happy to answer any questions.
Gobernador, puede decirlo eso en español, gobernador.
Lo hago en la pregunta.
Okay.
You mentioned that other candidate, so Donald Trump had a message for you this morning. He said you would come here and you would learn that illegal immigration is not an act of God. What do you say?
Well, what I say is that Mr. Trump's plans are not grounded in conservative principles. It would cost hundreds of billions of dollars. It's not realistic. It won't be implemented. And we need border security to be able to deal with getting this country back on track. So I'm not going to get into the issues of what he said and I said. The simple fact is that his proposal is unrealistic. It will cost hundreds of billions of dollars. It will violate people's civil liberties. It will create friction with our third largest trading partner that's not necessary. And I think he's wrong about this. If he was interested in a more comprehensive approach, he might want to read my book, Immigration Wars, which I published 4 years ago. I welcome Mr. Trump into the debate. I think that's great. He's serious, he's a serious candidate. He ought to be held to what serious candidates need to be held to. He needs to be held to account for his views.
¿Qué va a pasar con los Dreamers? ¿Qué va a pasar con los Dreamers? ¿Qué va a pasar con los Dreamers si usted es electo?
Yo creo que los Dreamers deben recibir un proceso a llegar a ser ciudadanos. Eso es mi opinión. No estoy de acuerdo con el proceso que hizo el presidente Obama. No tiene la autoridad constitucional de hacer esto por orden ejecutivo. Pero yo, como presidente, iba a ir al Congreso de cambiar la ley y darles un proceso, no a la residencia, sino a la ciudadanía.
Señor Lorenzo, usted ha dicho en ocasiones de que se quiere mantener, quiere distanciarse. Señor, usted ha dicho de que quiere distanciarse de la postura de Donald Trump. De alguna de
Yo
las
estoy
cosas que ha
proponiendo
planteado.
mis propias ideas.
Exacto.
Desde hace mucho tiempo.
Pero una de las cosas que aquí la gente del área pide es que no les llamen más bebés anclas. Que esa sería la manera que usted mejor se podría distanciar de
Mira, yo, basado en mi experiencia, mi vida personal, el hecho de que la campaña de Hillary Clinton o de Donald Trump me está atacando usando ese nombre, no está basado en realidad. Lo que estuve diciendo es que hay fraude en y los llamados anchor babies, cuando personas organizan para cometer fraude, tenemos que enforzar las leyes. Eso es todo. Pero la experiencia de inmigración no me va a dar lectura de esto. Yo soy orgullosamente casado con una mexicana americana. Mis hijos son hispanos. He estado involucrado
Ayer el señor Trump habló de que él iba a cambiar la gerencia de las autoridades migratorias. ¿Usted qué piensa al respecto? ¿Habría que cambiar la gerencia, el management? Y dijo, hay que cambiar el management del sistema migratorio del país. ¿Usted piensa que es correcto?
Sí, hay que cambiar la gerencia de la administración de Barack Obama, sin duda alguna. Mira, él no es serio en enfocar en proteger las fronteras y ha creado problemas de drogas, de violencia, de otros problemas que comunidades como este tienen que luchar en contra de eso. Por supuesto que debemos tener un sistema donde hay protección de las fronteras.
Do you worry that using the term anchor babies will affect?
Look, I spent a lot of time here growing up. It's a beautiful part of the country. People may not remember, but I was born in Midland and grew up in Houston and came here a lot. Came here campaigning for my dad, for my brother. I love the Valley, so I'm excited to be here. We're going to campaign hard. On March 1st, you have the Texas primary. My intention is to win the Texas primary, just in case anybody's curious about it.
Do you worry that using the term anchor babies could affect your ability to win the Hispanic vote?
Excuse me?
Do you worry that using the term anchor babies could affect your ability to win the Hispanic vote?
Look, as I said in Spanish, my background, my life, the fact that I'm immersed in the immigrant experience, this is ludicrous for the Clinton campaign and others to suggest that somehow I'm using a derogatory term. What I was talking about was the specific case of fraud being committed where there's organized efforts, and frankly it's more related to Asian people coming into our country, having children, in that organized efforts, taking advantage of a noble concept with birthright citizenship. I support the 14th Amendment. Nothing about what I've said should be viewed as derogatory towards immigrants at all. This is all how politics plays, and by the way, I think we need to take a step back and chill out a little bit as it relates to the political correctness, that somehow you have to be scolded every time you say something. It's not fair to be taken out of context. That's the nature of politics, but I just don't think that this is appropriate.
Last one, guys.
I feel like you will actually stick to using that term, anchor baby.
I just said that I was focusing on a specific targeted kind of case where people are organizing to bring pregnant women into the country, where they're having children, for their children to become citizens. That's fraud, and that's what we need to do. We need to enforce the law. We need to create a more secure border, not just at the border, but across the spectrum. I mean, there are 40% of the people that come here that are here illegally today came with a legal visa. Enforcing the immigration laws of our country needs to be a high priority. And once you had, how you do it, you put more resources.
How we refer to that initiative?
Huh?
How will you refer to this issue?
You give me the name. You know, this is so ridiculous.
Sí,
Give me the name you want me to use, and I'll use it. It's not that.
Si se da cuenta, si se da cuenta,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
señor Bush,
focused on.
si se da cuenta, mucha gente se está enfocando en el hecho de que usted haya usado esa palabra. Tal vez lo que la gente quiere oír es...
Llamados, por cierto.
Exactamente, ok. Y todos se están enfocando en eso. ¿Se disculparía usted por usar esa palabra y decir, hey, ¿saben qué? Pues no la quise usar.
¿Por qué? Porque no hay que estar tan rígido en todo. Lo que estuve diciendo es que hay, en casos específicos, hay personas cometiendo fraude para que sus niños lleguen a ser ciudadanos. Y en ese caso tenemos que enforzar las leyes de inmigración.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Setting the agenda on the or the tone on the immigration. What is your campaign doing to shift focus back to more comprehensive?
Look, I have set plans. I wrote a book about this called Immigration Wars. I have a complete comprehensive plan that I've laid out. And I'm going to stay focused on that. What we need to be focusing on is how do we fix these broken things in Washington, D.C. rather than talk about how bad things are. We need to start fixing how we tax, how we regulate, fix a broken immigration system. Both the illegal side and the legal side are broken. Embrace the energy revolution to create high-wage jobs. These are the things that matter. And I have proven leadership skills to make it happen. And now I'm going to go say hello to the people.
We got one last one from the kids in the back there. Those guys.
Yeah.
As a current high school student, I'd like to ask a question that refers to us. How do you feel about college costs? Are they too high? And do you have any plans to lower them so middle-class families can afford to go to college without financial aid?
Absolutely, costs are too high. And basically, what we've created is a system of tuition costs that grow faster than any form of inflation, healthcare, or regular inflation, far faster. And the inefficiencies of our higher education system are passed on with recourse debt, effectively, for students. I think universities need to have skin in the game. If kids can't graduate with a four-year degree in 4 years, there ought to be some payback to their families or to them, or there ought to be some support for the loans that they've taken out. I think we ought to be making sure that you can get a four-year degree done in 4 years. There are great programs around the country. One of the ones that I most admire is a plan called Tennessee Promise, where every child that participates, a student participates, and it gets their college education done, community college, at least the first 2 years, debt-free, free of tuition. It requires mentors, it requires personal responsibility on behalf of the student, and in doing that, that's the kind of approach we need. We need more kids graduating with degrees of purpose so that they can get a job and live an independent life.
Governor,
Thank you, guys.
Governor, do you support drone strikes of caves?